It's time to get your geek on with Dave Gramillion.
Ah, yes. It is another beautiful Saturday night. Welcome here. I am Dave Gramillion, and this is Get Your Geek On, powered by Southtown Games on Pleasanton Road near Loop 410 on the south side of San Antonio, where your gaming family wants to welcome you. Here we will talk Star Wars, Star Trek, DC, Marvel, video gaming, really all things geek that have dominated this little world of ours. You see, geek is not what it was 20 or 30 years ago. Geek is in. Geek is very in. Geek is now the mainstream, and we are here to talk the latest and greatest that is geek right here on 9:30 a.m. The Answer Talk Radio and 9:30 a.m. TheAnswer.com. This is Season 2, Episode 22. 222. It all kind of works out that way. Tonight, I want to first, we're going to wish everyone a happy Veterans Day, that's for sure. And we're also going to welcome in a guest. We are going to have Jerry Milani of Wizard World. He is the PR manager. He'll be calling into the studio here momentarily. We want to talk about some Marvel news. Thor Ragnarok has torn the box office apart for the month of November, but how high can it really go? And just how was the movie? We'll give you all a brief rundown on that as well. And in the second half, after the bottom of the hour news break, oh my God, did Star Wars break the web again? Every time. They do it all the time. News came down on Thursday. We're going to be breaking down that news, what it means for Star Wars going forward. And if we have time, I hope to talk a little video game news as well. The Overwatch League is right around the corner. The preseason will start December 6th. What is Overwatch? Why should you care? We'll be talking about that and more coming up at the bottom half of the hour. Alrighty, so with that being said, and no further to do here, I want to make sure that I am prepared. We are welcoming in the PR manager for Wizard World. I got to make sure that I'm ready for him. So, do I have everything I need? First, you got to have something to drink if you're going to talk on the radio for an hour. Good to go there. Secondly, I like to have a back scratcher on hand because don't you know that right in the middle of my conversation with him, I'm going to get that itch, the one right in the middle of your back you can never get to. Well, now he won't even, he's probably on hold, so he probably does know that. Well, that's okay. We're still covered there. Plus, if you're going to have a geeky talk radio show of any kind, you better have a lightsaber, and that's hashtag Old Blue, my lightsaber of many, many years, helping to keep the Minox at bay. And for all you Whovians out there, yes, I do have my sonic screwdriver. So we are set and good to go. I also want to make sure that I am decked out in geeky apparel as well. I am wearing my Star Wars hat and my San Antonio Darth Vader San Antonio Missions t-shirt, so I'm covered there. So I am good to go, but let me introduce the rest of my partners in crime here. To my left, your right, as you look across the radio dial, you will see the man, the myth, the legend, the founder and president of the Star Wars Society of San Antonio. He's our minion, Peter Gonzalez.
I prefer this one much more than the cricket splitting for obvious reasons.
There's no school like the old school.
Exactly.
How you doing, Peter?
I'm doing great.
What are you rocking there?
In honor of Veterans Day, I am wearing my Captain America. And I have to give a special shout out to my dad, Air Force veteran, 20 years, and a former Marine.
Outstanding. Very cool. Alrighty, and if you look further to my left, your right across the radio dial, you will see the man spinning the ones and zeros, our sound prognosticator. He is Goose. Alrighty, Goose.
Yes, sir.
And what are you rocking tonight?
Well, in honor of the success of Thor, I'm wearing a Marvel t-shirt. Also, I really enjoyed the Inhuman season finale, which was last night.
Yes.
So,
okay.
And then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. starts up after Thanksgiving, so it's time. It's Marvel's time right now.
Very cool.
Except for next weekend. Yes. But I'm excited for that. And if you'd like to get your geeky t-shirts, not necessarily one like this, but your mashup of geeky t-shirts, you want to go to ripapparel.com. That's riptapparel.com.
RIPT apparel.
Yes, riptapparel.com. And if you, whatever you want, you get it, put that in the cart. It could be their daily deals. It could be clearance, anything you want. Load up in your cart and use promo code GYGONU. Yes, you can get 10% off your order. That's riptapparel.com.
Alrighty, so with that being said, we're rip fired and ready to go. I do want to wish everyone a very, very happy Veterans Day. So I myself am an Air Force veteran. My father is an Army veteran. His father was an Army Air Force veteran. So that's at least 3 generations back. I've had many of my family's been in the military, and so Veterans Day is a very big day for us. And if it is for you as well, we want to wish everyone out there who has served, who will serve, and is serving now a very, very happy Veterans Day. Alrighty, so with that being said, I think we're ready to go ahead. Our guest is calling in. We are ready to bring on Jerry Milani, the PR manager for Wizard World. Let's go ahead and cue up the music. Jerry, hey, how you doing?
How did you guys know that's the music that follows me around when I walk around on the show floor? That's crazy.
Oh, I thought it was, anytime you enter a room, isn't it like a federal law that music's played for you?
Only at Wizard World events. How are you guys?
We're doing fantastic. It's just a terrific night down here in San Antonio. Just a little further south from Austin, where I understand we're going to have a Wizard World invasion coming up.
We are. From Friday through Sunday, we are going to have our 8th Wizard World Comic-Con Austin at the Austin Convention Center. It's Friday night, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. So we're ready. We're ready to go. We've been waiting all year to come back to Austin.
Now, for those who are not familiar, what exactly is Wizard World?
Well, Wizard World is the company, the brand name for the company that does the most Comic-Cons across the country. So we've done, like I said, 8 Comic-Cons in Austin, but we do between 16 and 20 every year, and we go coast to coast, and it's a celebration of pop culture, right? It's everything in the world of movies and music and art and science fiction and comics and cosplay, people dressing up in their favorite costumes. I mean, you say that you've listened on your show, Geek is mainstream. Well, so is our show. I mean, our events are for everyone, and there's something there for fans, whether you're, 5 or 85.
Outstanding. But what sets this apart from other Comic-Cons that are out there?
Well, we try to make everything immersive all in one place. So, for example, fans who come to our show, they might want to be there because they wanted to see Kevin Conroy because they love Batman. And on their way to meet Kevin and Lauren Lester, they're going to run into people dressed up as Batman. They're going to run into an artist who has an interpretation of Batman and Robin they've never seen before, and they're going to run into a vendor who has some merchandise they've never seen before, and they're finally going to get, at the end of that, they meet Kevin and Lauren, and that tops off the whole day. So we try to immerse everything in pop culture, whatever it is that you love about the worlds of movies and art and all those areas, all in one place and all under one roof.
Well, that's tremendous because it's made such an impact in the last, say, 15 to 20 years, and it's really ratcheted up over the last decade. So it's nice that y'all are really on top of this.
Well, Wizard World started our first show back in 1998 in Chicago. So we've done that show for 20 consecutive years. And we started a Philly show about 3 years later. And we've done those 2 shows consecutively since then. And then around 7 years ago, when we started the Austin show, is when we started our wave of doing a lot of shows all over the country. So we went from, I think we might have had 6 shows the year that we did Austin to 16. And all of a sudden, now we're between 16 and 20 a year the past couple of years. So we want to bring this brand of pop culture celebration all across the country, and Austin has been there really from the start in terms of us really making that big expansion.
And speaking of Austin, even though for some reason y'all want to settle for lousy breakfast tacos and stay there instead of come to San Antonio, we'll overlook that. That's okay. But what are some of the highlights for the Austin show this year?
Well, this year we have a lot of celebrities we've either never had at the show in Austin before or never even at shows at all. So, I mean, Kate Beckinsale's only been to one of our shows. Jason Momoa, it's been a while since he's been a regular at our shows. We have Brian O'Halloran and Jason Mewes from Clerks and Mallrats. We have Austin Emilio from The Walking Dead, first time he's done a show. Xander Berkeley, first time he's done a show. So the folks, when they come to our events year over year, are going to mostly see completely different celebrities, a lot of different artists, the new thing this year that we've done in 2017 is, in addition to all the celebrities and the artists and the Q&A programming, which is always standard for our shows, we've added an entertainment stage. So when you first walk in, there's going to be music, there's going to be cosplay meetups, there's going to be karaoke, there's going to be dance troupes, there's going to be all different entertainment, so that if you're in between seeing Nichelle Nichols and going to a panel, and there's always something to do, and you look on the schedule and go, I'd love to hear that 70s band, or I'd love to hear, it's all parts of pop culture, all parts of entertainment, and we're trying to add things that just make it a full day from 4 o'clock on Friday to 4 o'clock on Sunday. There's something to do if you choose to do that the entire time.
That's tremendous. It sounds like, it is like what you said. It's going to be a very, very full weekend up there in Austin. Now, late in 2016, the collected press that was reporting on this declared that Wizard World was near bankrupt and wouldn't last through 2017. Can you talk a bit about what the state of Wizard World is now, and can we look forward to shows in 2018?
Sure. I think we can paraphrase Mark Twain. The reports of our death were greatly exaggerated. I think that Wizard World, look, it's like anything else. This is a crowded market now. Lots of Comic-Cons are all over the country. Some of them are great. Some of them are small and great. Some of them are big and great. Some of them are, not so great. But we feel like right now, the way our shows have developed over time, and especially the improvements and changes we've made for this year, that we have a full schedule set up for next year, that we're really in it for the long haul, and I think that certainly we want to listen to fans and hear what they want to say about how we can improve our shows, and that's something that's been over the course of the year. Things have been tweaked, but we're in it for the long haul, and we're excited that Austin has been a part of it for so long.
And again, if you're just tuning in, we're talking to Jerry Milani. He's the PR manager of Wizard World, which will come to Austin November 17th through the 19th at the Austin Convention Center. To find tickets and to find out more, go to wizardworld.com.
All right,
they thought you were talking to Kim Commando. No, they didn't.
Well, now they know, because she and I look so much alike. It's uncanny nowadays.
Tell you what, though, she's been someone, and you talk about Kim Commando, she's been someone who's been at the front of this space for a long time, the tech space.
Yes, absolutely.
Since it started 20 years ago. She's been on top of it.
Well, now, speaking of 2018, speaking of looking ahead, are there any plans whatsoever to come back to the Alamo City?
We did a show in 2014 there, and the folks who came to the show had a tremendous time. I don't know what made it not work. That was at a point where we were really expanding our shows to, I think we did 24 shows that year. So that was an unsustainable number for us. So when we started looking at the map and trying to figure out, if we do a show in Austin, it's an established show, people know when it is, they come year over year. And, then we have San Antonio, and it's right up the road, and it hasn't had a chance to get a foothold. It wasn't a huge success for whatever reason. Something had to give there. So Indianapolis was in that situation. It was just too close to some of our other cities, and it wasn't a show that had a chance to really grab a hold. So we did lose a few cities along the way, and unfortunately, San Antonio is one of those. But we are always looking at ways to expand what we're doing, and if it means finding a different time of year or finding a different set of circumstances that make it work, it could happen for us again. Right now, there's no plans to go back to San Antonio, unfortunately, because I enjoyed the show, and I enjoyed the city, and I enjoyed the Riverwalk, and it was tremendous.
Well, let me sweeten the deal for you a little bit. I will declare right here and now that if you were to bring Wizard World back to San Antonio, I will buy you dinner on the Riverwalk one time.
I think that might put it over the top. I tell you, there's already an excellent show there, which we know. So, we'll have to, anytime we're involved in a situation where there's a city that, that has good shows, we have to determine, can we be a supplement to that? Are we going to interfere with that? All that. We want to keep it, where we're going to try to have the best chance for success and make the best show for the fans.
All right, now here comes our fun question of the evening. in all of the Comic-Cons that you've dealt and attended and worked on, I know so much goes on behind the scenes, but there had to have been those moments where you actually get a few minutes with a celebrity, or maybe a funny moment happens or something truly memorable stands out. What is one of those moments that you experienced?
Like a behind-the-scenes moment.
Yeah, something that maybe people wouldn't know about, but something that stands out to you in your memory.
I tell you what, there's been so many. I mean, I've been with Wizard World since 2009, so I've done all 8 of the shows in Austin and the 100 shows that have come in between all of those. And there's a lot of experiences. I think for me, meeting someone like James Hong, who is someone that fans of certain movies that he was in are big fans of, but maybe he's not the biggest attraction. Guys like that, Richard Anderson, who was in $6 Million Man. Well, I had a chance to meet, these are guys, they've been in hundreds of films, and they've done so much in the industry. And I know that a lot of people come to these shows, and a lot of it is, to celebrate certain movies or certain genres that they love. And then you run into somebody like those guys, and they'll tell you stories about, making movies in the 70s. And Richard Anderson talks about what it was like working, on $6 Million Man and Hawaii Five-0, which was the original Hawaii Five-0 was my favorite all-time show, and both James and Richard were in episodes of that. And just getting to share stories with those kind of guys from way back, that's my favorite part of the shows.
Outstanding. Well, Jerry, I want to thank you for taking the time out to speak with us here on 9:30 a.m. The Answer Talk Radio. We're looking forward to swinging up to Austin, and just about a week from now, we'll be there ourselves, and looking forward to shaking your hand there.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you guys there, too. And don't forget, kids 10 and under are free. So if you come out to the show, we've got kids' costume contests going on both days, all kinds of activities, a whole kids area. So it's really a family-friendly event. We hope that everyone wants to bring their whole family out and really have a good time. And please stop by. Everyone stop by the registration area and say hi to me for sure.
Outstanding. All right. And you can find out more about Wizard World coming to Austin at wizardworld.com/Comic-Con/Austin. Jerry, thanks very much for talking to us here. You have a good night.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Outstanding. So there we go. Jerry Milani, the man behind the curtain there over at Wizard World, coming to Austin here just next week. We're going to be there next week. We're going to bring Minion, and we're going to bring Goose, and maybe I'll even let him in the door.
Hey, that might mean better.
We got the email. We have passes.
Well, yeah, I know. That's true, but someone's got to push the car up there, so I appreciate y'all volunteering. That's going to be awesome.
I thought you were going to push the car. It is a Mini. So.
I got to drive the car. What, are you kidding me? Someone's got to drive it.
Yes, when next week's show, we will be in the midst of our Wizard World
Grand Prix?
Extravaganza.
Cornucopia?
Goodness gracious.
Outstanding. All right, with that being said, and then the little bit of time we have left, let's talk some Marvel news here, shall we?
Hang on a second.
Oh.
I have to change
screens. I caught
here.
you off guard. Oh, boo. All right, and we have switched out our traditional music, in case you couldn't tell, for Veterans Day to celebrate all of the veterans out there. This is also brought to you by our friends over at Pro Defense Pest Control. Yes, the weather has definitely started to change, which means all those creepy critters and crawlers are starting to go into your home to get out of the cold and the wind and the rain. So you want to talk to our friends over at Pro Defense Pest Control to keep them out of your house. Alrighty, so Thor has hit the high end of the box office expectations. Initially, they called and by they I mean the industry experts, called $85 to $90 million. Then when they got the overseas numbers, they said, okay, we're revising that to about 110 mil domestically, and Thor hit 121.
Wow.
Just blew apart the expectations. That's $35 million more than Thor 2 opened and $18 million more than the opening for Wonder Woman. To give you an idea about how big of an impact that movie has, it's the 7th largest opening for an MCU film. It did top Spider-Man Homecoming, which I admit I was a little surprised by.
I wasn't.
I mean, it's Homecoming. Everybody was looking forward to seeing Spidey and Iron Man in the same movie together. So, Ricky?
I think they were more interested in seeing Thor and Hulk because they hadn't been seen since Age of Ultron.
That's true. And of course, the fight scene was really
Oh my
hyped
gosh,
for that
was
as
so
well.
much fun.
It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Now, as of Thursday, Thor Ragnarok did gross $500 million worldwide, which already is more than Thor 1 grossed in its entire run. Domestically, it's about 148 million, and foreign, it's about another 353 million. 353, 354, somewhere around there. So the good news is that it should finish around 330 million domestically. It could go higher thanks to word of mouth, but it could also go lower thanks to Justice League coming out not too long from now, in fact.
Yay, Justice League.
But
I'm pretty hyped for that one, too.
If Thor can reach expectations and get to that 330 million domestic mark, that would put it in the top 5 movies for all of 2017 at the box office.
You know, I don't typically do this, but I might go see Justice League twice.
If it's good.
No, I just might go see it
Oh,
twice.
just
anyway.
because.
Just because.
Uh-huh.
And it's going to be good. It can't help but be good.
Now, Thor Ragnarok, this is the 17th film in the MCU. Its performance has now pushed the franchise over $13 billion globally, $5 billion domestically. Tell me Disney did not make a good move by buying that franchise.
I think they made a good move by buying that franchise.
What do they buy it for? Like $2 billion?
I don't remember.
Something stupid low like that. I mean, it's
the problem
it's
is they
crazy.
didn't buy all the licenses from Fox and Universal.
They
They're
tried.
working on it.
They are working on it, so we'll see what comes out of that. What would you say, Minion? You watched the show with me there at the Alamo Draft House, which, by the
Barely
way,
made it in.
is our exclusive home for watching movies. Yeah, you missed it. You almost missed it by about 30 seconds, man.
I dove in there like Indiana Jones.
And you guys grabbed your hat to reach through the doorway, grab your hat. So.
And that too. So.
And we did-
and grab some nachos along the way.
We
too.
did do our review right there also at the Alamo Draft House. I want to give them thanks for letting us do that. Minion, what was a real high point of the movie for you?
I think it was just a whole fun atmosphere because they took this from a whole different atmosphere. I mean, from a whole different tone. Because everything from the first Thor movie was, all right, you're just kind of setting everything up. The other one, I still don't know what was going on. I think I've only seen it once, and it was on like FX or something like that, and that was the end of it. But yeah, this was a lot more fun, and it just made a character, even though he's one of the strongest one of the Avengers, he's not the most appealing, and it just made this a lot more fun. And you just at one point, because even we did this, we stopped taking notes and like, the heck with it, just go with the ride.
Avenger.
Go with the ride.
All right, Goose, what did you think of the film?
I really enjoyed it. They're trying to copy the success and the fun of Guardians of the Galaxy with this, and they did a good job while not sacrificing the characteristics of what makes a Thor movie a Thor movie. They could have gone completely off the rails with it and tried to just make it a comedy, but it was a good fantasy movie with comedic elements, in my opinion.
That's true. I did think at times the comedy was a little over the top.
Yeah, it wasn't overdone completely. There were points where you're like, okay, let's just move the story along, folks. But I think I only counted like 2 of those moments the entire movie.
True. And other than that, the comedy's in good taste. There weren't any fart jokes. It wasn't Deadpool humor. It was
Thank
more
goodness.
Guardians of the Galaxy humor, which was a highlight for me. But I got to say, one of the low points actually for me was Jeff Goldblum.
I liked him in that. I really did.
I liked him at the start because he was Jeff Goldblum and he was funny, but by the end of his role, I wanted to see more. By the end of it, when everything's falling apart around him, Thor has already escaped, he's got Hulk, there's the Revolution, because they printed up the pamphlets, everything was going great for the revolutionaries, and he's still being Jeff Goldblum. I don't like that word.
I will say his last scene was unnecessary.
Yeah,
absolutely
'cause
unnecessary.
I actually did some digging around on this character, and he's a pretty intense. He's one of the elders of the universe.
Yes,
and he's just being Jeff Goldblum in this movie.
Absolutely, and that's Jeff Goldblum is good at the beginning, but by the end of it, I wanted
something.
I wanted the Grandmaster and not Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah,
but for me, a highlight of this was Rocky.
Yes.
You're going to get on me now because I'm not calling him by his real name, but by God, I'm going to call him Rocky.
You can throw something at him if you want, Goose. Okay, never mind.
I love this guy. All right, Doug, how are you doing there, new
Korg.
Doug?
His name is Korg.
Yeah, I know his name's Korg. I know that. I just call him Rocky because even though I'm made of rocks, don't let that intimidate you unless you're a pair of scissors.
He is very different from his his analogous character in Planet Hulk. I will say.
Yeah, I did some digging around on the character. He's interesting, and it's like, okay,
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. The movie really scored high for me. I gave it a 9.25. It's my highest rated movie of the year so far, out of 10. 9.25 out of 10. So
Yeah, I thought it was great.
you gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, it was great, but at the same time, okay, we could do some things without Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum.
Very
but,
true.
I was really impressed. I really liked the movie. I definitely want to see this again. Definitely got to go out and buy this when it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray.
Alrighty, coming up after the bottom of the hour news break, we got a bunch of Star Wars news we're talking about. We'll be right back here after this. This segment is brought to you by our friends over at Southtown Games. Speaking of Southtown Games, I was over there just recently, picked up some booster packs for my Dragon Ball Z card set, and I continue to be blown away every time I go in with the amount of accessories that you can find there. I mean, yes, you can find cards, you can find board games, you can find a great deal of merchandise there, but they also have mats, they have card boxes, they have sleeves, they have protection, they have a number of different items available to you at Southtown Games, and the staff continues to impress as well. They are knowledgeable in the games that they play. You're not going to find somebody at Southtown Games that'll sit there and read the back of the box with you and try to explain what the game's about because they saw a YouTube video on it once. Chances are they've played the game that you're looking at. And if not, then they know somebody who has. So you get to go in there together and figure out what game you want to play and how to take your game to the next level down at Southtown Games. All right, so Star Wars, holy cow, decided to break the web all over again with the announcement that Rian Johnson, who is the director of the upcoming Last Jedi film, will be directing an entire standalone trilogy of films coming up after Episode 9. And that just freaked a lot of people out. Social media went ballistic, absolutely crazy. It flooded many a news feed over on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But not everyone's happy with that, are they, Goose?
No, not everybody is happy.
Not
with
everybody's thrilled about this news, are they, Goose?
No, and I just bear it up to the definitions of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. You see, the first time we got big news about a return was a special edition trilogy, and we were all hyped about it. We were like, yay! And then we watched it. We're like, oh. Then, when George Lucas announced he's going to do the prequel trilogy, you were like, yay, Anakin Skywalker, we're going to see Darth Vader. And then we watched it, and we're like, yippee. Oh. And a lot of people thought, yay, J.J. Abrams, do trilogy. And they watched The Force Awakens, and some of them were like, oh. You see, it's not just the announcement, it's what they're going to do with it. We haven't seen Rian Johnson's first foray into the Star Wars universe, let alone a trilogy of movies that he's doing. So I think breaking the internet over something at sight unseen just seems rather crazy.
Well, here's the thing. All right, if rugby in San Antonio breaks news, nobody cares. If the NFL breaks news, it's all over the place. There's no question that Star Wars is king, and if Kathleen Kennedy, all of a sudden wears clashing shoes, it's going to make news. That's just how it is.
Okay, well, my whole take on this is, so Rian Johnson is doing all 3 movies. I guess he's got nothing to do for the next 7 years. He's putting his life on hold.
Well, the first trilogy, the first part of this trilogy won't come out for like another 4 years.
Right.
He's got a little bit of free time to, breathe the air and enjoy non-solitary confinement. So that's okay. I want to break down what exactly the release says and what it means, because a lot of people there's a lot of conflicting information out there. So let's break this out. All right. So what they said, and I'm reading the actual press release I got in my email here. And all right. So Lucasfilm is excited to announce that Johnson will create a brand new Star Wars trilogy, the first of which he is set to write and direct with longtime collaborator Ram Bergman. He will be alongside. So who is Ram Bergman? Well, as I scanned through my notes here, because I had a hyperlink, didn't I? Didn't I put a hyperlink in there?
Yes, you did.
It's not opening.
Hang on.
You gotta love live radio. Oh wait, okay, it's opening. Maybe it's just slow internet. It's just slow internet. That's what it is. I'm sorry.
So
Internet
Rob
gods.
Bergman was a producer on The Last Jedi. He was a producer in Looper, Don John, A Tale of Love and Darkness. He was a, let's see here. He's got one acting credit. He was in Rogue One, a Death Star technician #2.
I thought I recognized that
But he
guy.
was
Oh, of
uncredited
course.
in
No,
that
I know who
role.
this guy is.
He was the guy with the helmet.
That's right.
He's been nominated for a couple of awards for something called Brick that came out in 2005, but they're minor awards, nothing terribly serious. Who, guess what the director and writer for Brick was? That would be Rian Johnson.
Go figure.
Now, he also did Looper, and guess who starred in Looper and Brick? Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Hey.
So I would not be at all surprised if Joseph Gordon-Levitt shows up in a Star Wars movie.
He probably already
Possible.
has, and we'd never know it.
That's probably
Who's a
true also.
Jawa.
Alrighty, so as writer-director of The Last Jedi, Johnson conceived and realized a powerful film of which Lucasfilm and Disney are immensely proud. Well, let me tell you something, Lucasfilm and Disney. You just upped the ante and the expectations big time for The Last Jedi. Because if that movie sucks, if people don't like it, if it's another Rogue One or even a Force Awakens, which people are starting to kind of not be too thrilled with, then guess what? They're not going to be excited about this new trilogy.
And see, that's why I would have waited for this announcement until after The Last Jedi.
I agree. I'm a little puzzled as to why they made this announcement this week.
Because it was going to leak anyway.
Probably.
Because nobody can keep a secret nowadays.
Well, then again, at the same time, I was kind of looking through some of the feeds that were going on out there, and some people are like, well, this is exactly a big surprise he was going to do this. But at the same time, the way I kind of looked at this is like, okay, this kind of secures everything for when after Episode 9 comes out.
All
It's
right.
going to be there.
Now, here comes the fun part. All right, so they're immensely proud of The Last Jedi. They go on to say that in shepherding this new trilogy, which is separate from the episodic Skywalker saga, Johnson will introduce new characters from a corner of the galaxy that Star Wars lore has never before explored. So this tells me two things. One, we can pretty much guarantee now that Rey is not a Skywalker. We can pretty much guarantee that now.
You know what this just tells me? They don't trust him with the Skywalker saga.
Well, that's possible also. I think finally they've decided to move away from the Skywalkers.
We have
and
done the Skywalkers. We know what's going on. And the way I've always saw this is Star Wars is such a big, grand, operatic
Right, but
galaxy.
see, Star
So-
Wars has never done the Star Trek thing. Star Trek has diverged.
Well, maybe
Star
this is the
Wars
time when
never
it can.
really has.
Maybe
And
this is the time when they can finally actually do that. Where they can
Possibly.
totally go into a whole different thing. Because everybody's thinking, hey, maybe we can do some Knights of the Old Republic, which would be great, but at the same
Nope.
time, let's try something different.
now, here's what that also tells me is that this will not be the Old Republic.
No, it won't be.
I'm going to tell you first, I'm going to tell you in a little bit here why I say Rey is not a Skywalker. I'll get to that here in a second. But because they say that it's a new corner of the galaxy that Star Wars lore has never before explored and new characters will be introduced, they're not doing Old Republic movies. This will be Rey and Finn and Poe Dameron after Episode 9. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think Rey is Kenobi's granddaughter.
Or an ancestor of some type.
because like unlike other Jedi, she can speak with an English accent.
Well, that too. But here's why this makes sense. All right. So she's not a Skywalker because they just said they're moving away from the Skywalker saga. She can't be a Skywalker.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that Poe and Finn and her are going to be in these movies. It could be completely separate characters.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. I think that they're going to probably do something entirely
because
different.
what they could do is Episode 9 and then Episode 9.5.
It's possible. I'm not ruling any of that out. I'm just spitballing theories as to what it could be. But if Rey is a Kenobi, if she's a granddaughter, and obviously not a daughter because the age difference is too big, but a granddaughter of Kenobi, that opens up 3 movies about Kenobi's son.
Or I'm kind of thinking this can entirely be about Bob.
It could be Bob the Rancor.
It's Bob the Rancor.
I can't rule that out either. And his adventures to find the ultimate takodana.
That's right.
Well, see, I was
That's
about
it.
to ask earlier when you were at Alamo Drafthouse if you had the Nacho Donna.
Did it have the nacho Donna?
Yeah.
No, I didn't have the nacho.
I watched the Dr. Donna,
I thought,
so I had that.
we did have nachos, by the way.
Yes.
Which was awesome. So.
But if she is a granddaughter of Kenobi, then the movies could be about her father, Kenobi's son, and how he made his way through the universe.
By the way, you want to talk about the pluses of sunscreen. Look at Kenobi at the end of Episode 3, and look at Bell Organa at the end of Episode 3, and Mon Mothma, and then look at Rogue One in Episode 4. You're like, man, the sun is a son of a gun, isn't it?
You need like SPF 212 or
My goodness.
Got
1138.
two sons
The
on
sun
there.
will do weird things to your skin, everybody.
All right, so So those are your possibilities. Rey being a granddaughter of Kenobi, and the stories being about her father, Kenobi's son, or about the adventures of Rey, Finn, and Poe Dameron going forward.
I think that, I don't think she's a Kenobi daughter, but I still think she's related to him somehow.
Well, she can't be a daughter.
She can't be Kenobi's daughter,
Yeah.
and here's why. Force Awakens takes place about 30 years after Return of the Jedi, which itself takes place several years after A New Hope, which Kenobi died, or became one with the Force, depending on what you want to say. So if we figure Rey is about 20, 22?
Yeah,
give or take.
Yeah.
So she was born 8 years after Return of the Jedi. So based upon that, there's no way she could be the actual biological daughter of Ben Kenobi.
But she could be a granddaughter.
Yeah, she could very easily be a granddaughter.
Absolutely.
It just means that Anakin wasn't the only one breaking the Jedi code.
All right,
But the other possibility is Obi-Wan came from somewhere. So maybe that bloodline must be coming either from a distant relative of his.
that's possible also.
It is possible.
Could be a cousin, a niece, something along those lines. Now, the last little bit of this that I want to get into is I like how Kathleen Kennedy says that, that he's a creative force. Ha ha ha. And watching him craft The Last Jedi from start to finish was one of the great joys of my career. That's Kathleen Kennedy saying that. Kathleen Kennedy calls watching Rian Johnson work on The Last Jedi one of the great joys of her career. Should we go into her career for just a minute here?
Roll it.
Well, if she really wanted to be puntastic, she could have said he's a creative force and watching him awaken during The Last Jedi. Yeah.
All right.
He was
so
a real rogue on these movies.
She's been a producer in 92 films, including E.T., Poltergeist, Temple of Doom, Gremlins, The Goonies, Back to the Future, Young Sherlock Holmes, The Money Pit, The Color Purple, American Tail, Inner Space, Empire of the Sun, Batteries Not Included, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Back to the Future 2, Always, Joe versus the Volcano, Gremlins 2 The New Batch, Arachnophobia, Back to the Future, American Tail 5 Goes West, Cape Fear, Hook, Tiny Toon Adventures, Alive, Jurassic Park, We're Back, A Dinosaur Story, Schindler's List, The Flintstones, Milk Money, Bridges of Madison County, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, and The Sixth Sense.
Whoa.
And a little thing called Star Wars.
Oh, she did Bridges of Madison County?
Yes, she did.
Wow.
Yeah,
And Tiny Toon, so that means she and Spielberg are tight.
Yes, they are. Absolutely. So that's just what she was a producer on. 92 films, but watching Rian Johnson work on The Last Jedi was a great joy of her career. So, I'm sorry.
He better be that good.
Could the expectations be any higher for this film?
No, not at this point.
Yeah, way to go, Disney. You have seriously ratcheted up the
So
expectations.
if it doesn't do $1 billion worldwide, it's a failure.
Well, I'm just saying right now that when we go to watch it at the Alamo Drafthouse on opening night, if it's not an outstanding film, I'm going to start to wonder exactly what kind of a career she's had if she's talking this a great joy.
We're going to watch it. We're going to wait a week, let it settle with us first, and then tell you what we thought about it.
I tell you what was wrong with it.
I think I know why she may have said that, because she didn't have enough taco Donna in her. She was just hungry, and she was just writing, just
That could
typing
be.
away.
Now, some other news came out during the third quarter shareholder announcements. Here we go. Hold on to your hats, everyone. We are getting a Star Wars live action series, and it's not going to be on network television.
Dun, dun, dun.
So it's going to be on cable.
It won't even be on cable. In fact, CEO Bob Iger announced that Disney plans to create a live action Star Wars show for its upcoming online streaming service.
Okay, here comes. They're just trying to make money.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but think about this, though. That means that they're free from typical FCC standards.
Yeah.
Much like Game of Thrones is,
Star Trek.
Star Trek Discovery is, Stranger Things,
So somebody in
House of Cards.
Wait for Star Wars to drop that F-bomb.
F-bomb, I was about to say.
We're probably it may happen now.
What do you think R2's been saying all these years?
We're about to find out.
There's a reason he's been bleeped.
Right.
There are zero details about what the show will be about, who will be cast, who's going to write, direct, produce, all that. There's no release dates given or anything. But according to Variety magazine, Iger also revealed that Disney is going to be also working on shows for Monsters, Inc., High School Musical, and a new series from Marvel.
Well, the good thing is about High School Musical, that cast will only be around for 4 years.
Thank God. The streaming service is expected to launch sometime in 2019.
So we've got your usual cast. You've got your Netflix, your Hulu, your Amazon.
Right.
You're paying 3. Then you've got
CBS
All Access
Yep.
for Star Trek. You've got DC streaming service for DC stuff. You've got now Disney for
Marvel, Star Wars, and Disney.
You've got ESPN, which is, oddly enough, another Disney one. But anyway, let's see. What am I leaving out? HBO Go for Game of Thrones.
HBO Go. So that's 8 right there.
Yeah.
Those y'all keep me count at home.
And let's see, which ones am I missing? Am I leaving out?
Well, where is Origins going to be?
Stargate Origins. So that's going to be
Origins?
Stargate Command. So that's another one.
That's another one. Thank you. So I'm sure our audience will help fill us in on what we're missing.
What am I missing
But right
out,
there
guys?
already, that's nine shows, 9 networks rather, for streaming services.
And if you do an average of $8 a month per.
Now keep in mind, there has never been a Star Wars live action series.
Well, they talked about it when the third movie when Return of the
In
Jedi.
2005.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we've got, 4 animated series?
We do, actually. That would be Clone Wars. That would be Rebels. That would be Droids. That would be the Ewok Adventures. And I don't count Caravan of Courage as a live-action series. No, I don't know. Not made for TV. I mean an actual TV series. It's never been done. Now, back in 2005, George Lucas did talk about having a show called Underworld. And it would be, that gritty kind of a bounty hunter, non-Jedi, non-Sith type of a show. But it fell apart in 2010 due to concerns about the budget.
Now, I will say this, if that's another reason to do a streaming service, because you're getting the consumer money directly. And if you've already paid, you're going to have to pay residuals for a lot of the already produced things. But those residuals go down eventually. So you can get more of those funds to not only have your technology improve on the storage, but also to go to the original content.
Now, here's the thing. This is what I want, and what I'm hoping this live-action series will be about. Give us the old Republic, for the love of God.
For
Please.
the love of the Force.
For the love of the Force. For the love of female characters taking the lead everywhere. Please, Lucasfilm, do an Old Republic show.
So basically, it sounds like Disney is actually doing Spaceballs too, the search for more money.
Well, I certainly can't blame them. I mean, God forbid a business go out there and try to make money. And they've already made a ton off the movies anyway.
Well, everybody's so, mad about CBS for wanting to make money.
Well, yeah, but businesses make money. It's what they do. But what I want though, if they could give us an Old Republic live action series, that would be so much fun. That would be the single best decision they could make going forward.
And then they could do a little mini storyline, the Sith Wars.
That would be nice.
That would be very nice.
I wouldn't mind that at all. But there's literally about 7,000 years of pre-Star Wars content that we know of that's waiting out there. There's Nomi Sunrider and Ulic Qel-Droma and Darth Revan and Darth Bane, and there's so much. Or you could always
do post everything that happened after.
But if you're still building that, in with the movies, you can't really do a whole lot of that.
Besides,
or you could always go
without
back to
conflict.
the Galactic Civil War.
And everyone knows that once the movies are done, it's because the Porg take over. The Porg invasion.
We are the
Porg, the other white meat.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna have a Porg trilogy. That's what it's gonna. That's the standalone right there.
And then the fast food restaurant's going to serve popcorn pork.
Pork tacos
over at Taco Donna. That's
go.
right. So, what would you guys want to see out of a live action series?
No, seriously, what do you want to see?
Well, actually, I was asking y'all.
Oh, us.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, gosh.
I wanted, honestly, if it's going to go to a streaming service, it needs to bring it big time. I'm talking that it needs to, like Star Trek Discovery, spend $8 million an episode.
Push the envelope.
Yeah.
Do you think that what they've done with Discovery could influence?
Oh, I hope so, because they've done some really good special effects work with Discovery. The CGI is really good. The exterior shots. I wrote an opinion piece about what I think of Discovery so far, and they've done a really good job. There's some theories about how what's going on in Discovery could influence future things that we just may not know about or just yet in the original series and Next Generation. Obviously, we know the spore drive ain't going to happen, but
Yeah.
boy, could Voyager have used that one.
Oh boy, no kidding. Hello, we can just instantaneously take us anywhere we want to go.
So, but yeah, pushing the envelope, go bigger than the movies. Even there's stuff that's done in Discovery that was never done in any Star Trek movie.
Here's what I want to see. Of course, lightsaber duels are going to be a given, but I agree with you. The visual effects need to be mind-blowingly good. But I want to get back to a show where the side characters get to be as important as the main characters. Those are the shows that do really well. And I'm talking, there's a reason why The Simpsons and South Park have lasted as long as they have. One of them is that, of course, yes, they're incredibly popular. But the other is that the side characters can carry the show.
The fact that they're animated and the characters don't age helps with that, too.
Well, it does help with that. I agree. But let's face it, there have been episodes that have centered around Mo Sizlak and have done well. There are shows that center around Mr. Burns, Comic Book Guy, Mrs. Krabappel, rest in peace, Ned Flanders. There are shows where you barely see The Simpsons, and they do well because the side characters can carry the show. I want to see a Star Wars live-action series that, yes, has Sith and Jedi. Yes, they have lightsaber duels, and yes, there are epic space battles and that sort of thing. But I want intriguing characters, including side characters.
I like something that Joshua Lashley said here. He says, I would still say that Order 66 should have been a whole movie, not 10 minutes.
Oh, that would be good, too. The Order 66 aftermath.
Yeah, the whole Jedi Purge. Or, of course, I forgot. I think he also said something about Mandalorians.
Could be.
So I have a question for you, our listening audience. If there was a live-action Star Wars show that did not have but maybe one lightsaber battle a season, didn't really deal with the Jedi too much, but it was more like the bounty hunters, the underworld, the wretched hives of scum and villainy. Would you watch that? Or must it have the Jedi? Must it have the Sith? Must it have the lightsaber battles, the great space battles that we've come to expect from the Star Wars movies? Or would you be okay with something a little bit more affordable, to be quite honest with you, and something a little bit more low-key? We want to know, and you can let us know at facebook.com/GYGO radio.
Personally, I would mind seeing something along the lines of, the Galactic Civil War. More, sort of like a Rogue One, but you don't have to have Vader in it. Just something from more of the troopers' standpoint.
That would be good also.
Soldier.
Let's get back to the Mandalorian idea. I would love a Mandalorian series. That would be awesome, because then you can get into the lore, the culture, the history, the traditions.
And if it's on streaming, then you can get graphic.
You can get graphic with it. We're talking adult content, adult situations, strong language. I mean, it's around the corner, so that would be tremendous. That'd be a lot of fun. I would get a kick out of a Mandalorian series. All right. Briefly, in the little bit of time we have left here, we want to, a little bit of time. Let's go ahead and talk some quick video game news here. Alrighty, there's my song, the Air Force song. Thank you very much, veterans everywhere.
My grandfather was retired Air Force,
This is brought to you by our friends over at Laser Legend. Laser Legend is on the north side of San Antonio off of 1604 and Lookout Road near I-35. We love going up there, man. We have so much fun with their laser tag. We have so much fun up there with the Photon Torpedo and all the food that they have. The 4,000 square foot video arcade, 2-floor laser tag arena, indoor miniature golf. We have a great time every time we go up there. We strongly encourage that y'all head up there, get out of the cold until it warms up, and then get into the cold over at Laser Legend.
And where can they find all that Laser Legend has to offer?
They can find everything over there at laserlegend.com, by golly. Alrighty, so Overwatch League is coming up, and this is set to change the face of esports as we know it. Overwatch, for those of y'all not aware, is the fastest growing game out there, period. They have 35 million players, and they just celebrated their first anniversary at the end of May. They've barely been around for 15 months that they've been around. 35 million players, $1 billion in revenue, and now they're going big-time esports. The preseason schedule is set. Wednesday on December 6th, Florida versus Philadelphia, LA versus San Francisco, Seoul versus Shanghai. Thursday, December 7th, we have the Los Angeles Gladiators, or LAG, versus the London Spitfire. The Dallas Fuel versus the Houston Outlaws. That's a good one. New York Excelsior versus Boston Uprising. And then they will have more games on the 8th and 9th. Whew. Holy cow, man. Are we really almost done? Oh, we are. Okay. This hour just flies by, I swear to God. Woo! So if you want to tweet at us, you can find us at GYGO_official. You can shoot me an email at davethehost@getyourgeekon.org. For Goose, for Minion, and for myself, I want to thank our sponsors, Southtown Games, Laser Legend, The Mailing Spot, and Pro Defense Pest Control. Thanks for listening, everyone. Be excellent to each other, and make sure to get your geek on every single day.